What's cracking, everybody? This is the KhaosDubz channel. I'm your host, Chaos, and today we're going to be talking about 10 things you should have prepared for any emergency. Let's get started. So today we're talking about 10 items that anyone should have prepared for any emergency at all, basically. They're going to come in handy, and we're going to talk about 10 and maybe a few other items as a bonus here for you folks. So let's get into this. First thing we're going to talk about today, long-range VHF, UHF marine radios. So as you can see here, we got the radio. This is a Baofeng UV5R 8 watt. These radios aren't that expensive. You can find them for 30 or 40 US dollars approximately, generally with shipping and stuff. We have to order them from the States here in Canada because, as usual, folks, you heard me say it before, our laws here in Canada are absolutely ridiculous. So these are going to be your best option. They're the most popular. They're pretty easy to learn. There's a few things about these I do want to mention. I'm going to make a video eventually here, folks, that's going to explain these more in depth, and it's going to tell you a lot more about them. But just to go over a few items about them, you do need a radio license, amateur radio license, to transmit on these radios. And it's pretty easy to get and all that. It does give you a special tag on your license plate, basically. So in the case of an emergency, such as we're having now, where there's roadblocks possibly and all that stuff, you will be let through the roadblocks because you are a ham operator. But a lot of people are using these out in the bush, regardless of licenses, folks. I'm not advocating it by any stretch, but there's a lot of people doing it. For emergency situations, I mean, they're pretty necessary to have. They're a really good way to keep in contact over quite a long range. You can get car antennas and upgrade them a whole bunch to get even longer range. We're not going to spend too much time on these today, but there is another point about these. It's actually point number 2 of something that you need to have for this video that this radio also does is an NOAA weather radio. So basically that's going to tell you everything about the emergency weather broadcasts. It'll do it in English and in French, and it just goes 24/7 basically. I was going to put it on there, but I'm way too far in the channels, and I'm not going to waste your guys' time here going through the channels. But NOAA weather radio can also be found on they're basically like emergency radios that can run on either battery or hand crank, or some of them have a little solar panel on them. And I'm going to talk about those a little bit more as well. But I'm going to leave a link somewhere down for one of them on Amazon that you guys can check out. I don't personally have one yet. I do have a hand crank radio, but not one with the NOAA. I use this for my NOAA. I am looking to upgrade to something. I just haven't found exactly what I want yet. So on to the next thing here, folks. A good fixed blade full tang knife is going to be one of the most important things you can have for an emergency situation. This is obviously a large hunting knife. You don't need to get something this large. You can get something about half the size or whatever. But the idea of the full tang is that it goes from here all the way down to the end of the handle, so the knife doesn't wobble or anything. When you're holding the knife, you're in control of the entire knife. That's super important because with a knife like this, you're able to take down small trees if you have to, or even defend against, large animals such as possibly a bear. Not that you would want to. If you have to get that close to a bear, you're in real trouble. But fixed blade, full tang knife, guys. Don't rely on a flipper knife. You may have seen some of my other videos talking about a lot of the flipper knives and doing some reviews there. They're cool, they're great for like an everyday carry, but they're really not good for an emergency situation. And I guess, yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory, guys. You want to keep the knife sharp. The sharp knife is a safe knife, and you're less likely to cut yourself if it's sharp. On to the next thing. I want to mention a good comfy backpack such as this. You can see mine's all dirty. It gets good use. And a side note, I carry a can of bear spray here. You never know when you're out in the bush. I've never had to deal with a bear personally, but when you're out there, I'm telling you, it's paramount. I've heard bear spray works better than even guns because bears can run real fast and they don't like bear spray. I hope I never have to deal with that situation personally. But back to the backpack. This is a 3-day pack. It's like a military style pack. It opens right up down the side, so it'll like open up flat, so you can like store like a whole bunch of shit in it and then close it, so everything's organized. It's also really comfy to carry. I wear this on my dirt bike, and every time I go to the bush, basically, you can load it right up. It'll fold right out on you. And this backpack was like $40 or so online on Amazon. I don't think the same link where I got it is available anymore, but I'll see if I can find something and throw up a link for you guys for something similar. You'll notice this one has a US patch on it. It was cheaper to get the US patch than it was the Canada patch in Canada, so sorry Canada. But yeah, you don't want to go without a good backpack. And then if you'll notice, this has molly pouches all over, or the molly webbing, I should say. There's even some on the sides here. And that allows you to do stuff like this, attach like a radio pouch, for example, or water bottle pouches, or anything else. Even on the front, you can attach like a sleeping bag, like wraps and stuff to all this, or on the bottom here, you can do that as well. And yeah, you never want to be left without a good backpack. We're not really talking about bug out bags today either, folks. If you guys want, leave a comment down in the comment section there. If you want to learn more about bug out bags, we can definitely talk more about that. But that's not really in the scope of today's video. Just having a backpack where you can carry stuff that you need to is always good. So on to the next thing. You want to have a good way to filter water. Obviously, water is going to be your most important resource in a survival emergency situation of any kind. Even if you're locked in your house still and you run out of water, under quarantine, for example, or if something happens to our water supply, then you're going to need a way to filter water. So today I'm just going to talk about two of them quickly. So the lifestraw, these are about 20 or 25 bucks. As you can see, this has no more writing on it. It's been through the gamut over the last couple years that I've owned it. These are pretty straightforward. They got caps to keep them closed on the ends, and you can drink pretty much from any water source in North America with them. This year I decided to upgrade. So these life straws will work for one person for about a year. They'll filter 1 gallon a day for about a year. Now these other ones here, the Sawyer Mini, these are very interesting. If you notice, it's much smaller than the life straw, like by a whole friggin' lot. It's like maybe half the size, which is awesome. It's way easier to carry. So with the Sawyer Mini, it comes with a bag, so you can use the bag to like fill river water and then filter into like your clean water bottle or whatever. These come in a multitude of different colors. They're about 33 bucks or so. I'm going to leave a link for you guys for these down in the description there. Do get a water filter, folks. These are a lot better than the life straw because these will filter 1 gallon a day for 274 years. So these you can actually rely on to save your family for a long time, folks. There are instructions and there's a bit of a way to use them. You got to clean them out after you use them. As you see, there's a syringe included in the package there behind the filter that allows you to flush it out after you're done using it. So next I would like to mention, you gotta have something to keep morale up and keep people busy, folks, especially if things are really tough. And you never know, I mean, this may be a bit extreme if the grid goes completely down, but you want to have a deck of cards. And that just, it'll keep people busy. These cards are cool because they're actually made of plastic, and they're not paper, so like, they're great to have a plastic set. These are Smirnoff. I think we got these at the liquor store for free. But they're plastic, so they're really, they're not going to get damaged. They're going to last a long time, and it's a guaranteed way to keep people's spirits up when shit hits the fan. A few ways, or a way to charge electronics would be the next thing. So as you see, I've got a power bank here. These can be supplemented with, this is a 20,000 mAh power bank, by the way, guys. So this thing lasts a long time. I can charge my phone like a whole bunch. But it can be supplemented with small backpacks. Backpack solar panels that you can like hang off your backpack, of course. So you could like, hang it right here. And then as you're walking, it's just constantly charging your power bank. And then when you're ready, your power bank is good to charge, your phone or your radio or whatever. Again, I was mentioning with the radios, there are many upgradable things. This is not chargeable with one of these, but you can get a battery that does have a port that is chargeable. And they're pretty inexpensive in that respect. And always have a backup of stuff, folks. So in mentioning the NOAA radios earlier, there are ones that have like a hand crank and a solar panel and all that stuff. That'd be a really good way to kind of kill, a couple birds with one stone. I would recommend, though, the reason I haven't got myself one of these hand crank radio charger emergency kits yet is because I have a Note 9. Actually, I'm using it over here. I was looking forward to show you guys about that. And it's quite large, and most of these hand crank ones only put out like, a couple hundred milliamps or 500 milliamps, and that's just not going to charge a larger iPhone or a Note, for example. And that's just the reality of the situation. You can get a larger one on AliExpress. It's, I think, about this big, and it's 20 watts. So I mean, you can charge pretty much anything in your house with it. And that's another good way to go. It's not that expensive either, folks. I'm not going to leave a link. I'll let you find that one yourself, just because the way things are going with China. I'll let you be the decider. I'm not going to push that one on you. What else can I mention about that? Oh, yes. So I guess the next thing would be a way or a few ways to start a fire. So I've just got a couple things here. Obviously, a Bic lighter. They're indispensable. You can buy a pack of them for a few dollars. I'm sure you guys know that. And get yourself a pack and have them for sure. Another thing is a fire striker. Pretty straightforward. Just use it to strike. I'm not going to do it here because I'm in my computer area here. But these things are cheap. They can be found for a couple dollars. You can find brand name ones that supposedly have better reviews and more strikes and all that stuff. They're a little bit more money. You can also find huge ones that are like, 3/4 of an inch around and stuff, which is pretty neat. They'll last a lot longer too. They're a little more cumbersome to carry. You'll see a lot of people making a necklace out of these just so they always have it, or using it as like a knife lanyard. You could mount it on there, and then boom, you always have it with your knife, for example. And on that topic, there's a few other things that I want to mention. So like dryer lint is really good to start fires. In my other video, the 5 survival skills that you need, in that video it's talking about Blackbeard Fire Starter, and there's a link for it in there. And that stuff I haven't tried myself yet, but the reviews are really, really promising, and it looks really cool. So I'm definitely going to be picking some of that up for this summer and giving it a try. Although we make a fire pretty easy here in Alberta. It's usually pretty dry, so it's not that difficult. But I'm sure I'll do that just for you guys to get a review up and stuff. And I mean, paper's kind of cumbersome. Like I said, dryer lint's really good, guys. Try some dryer lint. What's next here? IFAK. So I did a video the other day, folks, and it's called the IFAK, what it is and why you need it, basically. So IFAK is individual first aid kit, as you see there, and it's pretty cool. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. This thing is literally bursting at the seams, packed full. You guys got to check out my other video. I even ended up getting the alcohol in here, so it's really good. Something you should have at all times, and everyone needs one, folks. We live in a society where things are pretty stable, and people don't realize that shit can go south really quick, and you may need emergency equipment. And some cash. It's one of the most important things. I know, even though the system may collapse and cash may become worthless, people are still going to take it. So $100, folks, is a really good thing to have on your emergency kit somewhere. And don't have this like in your wallet. Have this like a separate $100 for you in an emergency kit somewhere. Again, we're not talking about bug out bags, but maybe a bug out bag is a good place to keep it. And I have a few bonus items here for you, just because I had them sitting around here, folks, and I figured they'd fit pretty well in this video here. So I got a couple different kinds of saws. You can get these at Princess Auto or Harbor Freight for $5 to $10, and they have changeable blades. So right now I got the hacksaw blade on there, and they also come with the aggressive woodcutter saw blade. They're inexpensive, they're light, but they do take up a good bit of room. So when I was there the other day, I found these ones for $9, and they're a folding 9-inch tree saw. It's actually the second one. I went and bought a second one for one of my friends because they're just absolutely awesome. We ended up trying out one, and it cuts through a 2x4 in like 2 seconds. So shout out Crystal, we got your saw for you. And then the second bonus item is these expanding rags. You can just put them in water, and they're like compressed, and then they open up. They're good for washing your face or cleaning your hands in situations. And the final thing I want to touch on today, and I'm going to do another video about this in the future here, folks, a GPS unit. And without one, you can be really screwed over. These are great for many scenarios. You can map out your property with them. They have hunting and fishing calendars on them, so they can tell you when the best time to go hunting and fishing is, what time of day, what day of the month, and so on and so forth. which is really handy. They also map your course. Of course, it's a GPS unit, so when you're out there, if you're on an adventure, even if you're going from a location like your house, and maybe the roads have been blocked and you're on foot and you're trying to find a fresh water source maybe that nobody else has found, for example, you could map it out on this and make sure that you keep it to yourself, of course, but you would never forget where it is, for example. Or in the case of, like, if you're setting out a bug out stash, or setting up a bug out stash, you can make sure that you hide it real well and just use your GPS to mark it, basically like a geocache, but only you have it. And I mean, nobody's ever going to find it, right? I mean, the chances are so slim. And like I said, I will do another video regarding that. It's a little bit more in depth, but I will do that for sure, folks. I just got this thing around Christmas. It was on for a really good sale, and I haven't actually got to use it in the bush yet, but I have got it set up, and it's pretty neat. There's satellite imaging on there, which is pretty cool. And it's also the topo map version, so it's pretty sweet. I just want to mention we're doing Wobble Wednesdays, folks. Every Wednesday, 7 and 9 Mountain Standard, and that's 1 hour later than Pacific time. We're like 1 hour over from the West Coast, if that helps y'all out. Colorado time, Edmonton time, if that helps you guys. You can check out my other channel in the links in the description in the bottom of this video for Wobble Wednesdays live. And you can see some of our replays as well. We have special guests in here. Obviously, during quarantine, we're trying to keep that to a minimum. And folks, let me know if you want to see more, what you want to see more of. Again, shout out in the comments if you want to learn more about any of the stuff I've talked about today, or if you want to learn about stuff that I maybe haven't talked about today. And yeah, keep in touch, folks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace out. Thanks for watching, everybody, and if you want to stay up to date with the latest content and see more from me, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment down in the bottom there. Catch you next time.